player vote because Angel Reese got a most valuable player vote. I mean, who can we actually tie that to? I am hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that actually comes out so we can find out who gave Angel Reese a vote. Seriously. I don't get it. Okay. Las Vegas Aces star A'ja Wilson was the unanimous choice for the WNBA MVP the league announced Sunday.
The WNBA MVP announcement from last season is one of those moments that still gets brought up whenever people talk about how the league handles its awards because the actual winner made total sense, but the way the rest of the voting shook out did not. A'ja Wilson took home the trophy for the third time in her career, and she did it unanimously, which means every single one of the 67 voters put her first. That part nobody had a problem with. Wilson put up absurd numbers that season, averaging close to 27 points and almost 12 rebounds per game.
Unanimous choice for the WNBA MVP the league announced Sunday. The Aces' versatile forward averaged 26.9 points a game and 11.8 rebounds this season. She's only the second player to win the award unanimously, joining Cynthia Cooper of the Houston Comets, who did it in the league's inaugural 1997 season. Wilson received all 67 first-place votes from a national media panel. Oh, boy. Making her a three-time award.
She became only the second player in WNBA history to win the MVP unanimously, the first being Cynthia Cooper way back in 1997 when the league was just getting started. Wilson also became the fourth player ever to win the award 3 times, joining Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Lauren Jackson. On pure basketball merit, there was no argument to be made against her. The real fireworks started once people looked past Wilson and saw where everyone else landed.
A 3-time award winner, 2020 and 2022, she's the fourth player in WNBA history to reach that milestone, joining Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Lauren Jackson. Minnesota Lynx forward Napheesa Collier was second, 467 points, followed by New York Liberty forward Breanna Stewart, 295. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark with 130. And Alyssa Thomas of the Sun, who we'll see today.
Napheesa Collier from Minnesota came in second. Breanna Stewart from New York was third, and then Caitlin Clark from Indiana sat at fourth with 130 points. A lot of analysts felt Clark had a stronger case than where she ended up. Her rookie season had been historically good by any measure. She finished with over 19 points a game, nearly 6 rebounds, and more than 8 assists on average.
Hey, taking on Caitlin Clark, 83 points in fifth place. Wilson finished third in the MVP voting last year, receiving one fourth-place vote. She said fueled her after the Aces won their second WNBA title. Quote, "It propelled me a little bit as I started my off-season workouts, but around February, I was over it. I didn't want to give that person that energy. That's when I started to lock in."
She shot around 41% from the field and was knocking down about 34% of her threes while shooting over 90% from the free throw line. On top of the raw stats, she had broken somewhere around 60 records across the board, combining WNBA records, franchise records, and rookie records all in one season. She set the all-time single-game assist record with 19 dished out in one game and recorded 2 triple-doubles as a rookie, which had basically never been done before at that level. The argument was that she deserved at least a second-place vote from somebody given everything she accomplished on the court alone, and that was before factoring in what she did for the league off it.
I didn't want to give that person that energy. That's when I started to lock in. So, Caitlin Clark, that's right. She finished fourth. The Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark had a tremendous season, will likely win the WNBA Rookie of the Year award, Angel Reese, as she set numerous records in the first season of her professional career. And, of course, in case we want to know, or you want to know, frame of reference, 19.2 points a game, 5.7 rebounds a game, 8.4 assists, 41 points.
But the vote that really got everyone talking was not Clark finishing fourth, it was Angel Reese getting a fourth-place vote at all. Somebody on the 67-person national media panel actually put Reese on their ballot, and the reaction was immediate. Reese was a rookie playing for the Chicago Sky, a team that had been falling apart all season long and missed the playoffs entirely.
8.4 assists, 41.7% shooting from the field, 34.4% from three-point range, 90.6% free throw percentage, and a partridge in a pear tree. I mean, Caitlin Clark, and I think when I looked the other day, she had broken roughly like 60, it was over 60 records, either WNBA records, franchise records, Indiana Fever, or WNBA rookie records. And she's got the most assists.
The same stat padding concerns that had been talked about all year were still fresh in people's minds. Her double-double streak had been built largely on grabbing her own missed layups, and she had the worst shooting efficiency inside of 5 feet in the entire league. For context, the Sky had lost 5 games in a row at one stretch, and the culture inside that locker room had reportedly collapsed. Putting those two things together, a rookie on a team that was imploding and a shooting efficiency that was the worst in the league, and handing her an MVP vote made very little sense to anybody paying attention.
Rookie records. And she's got the most assists in the game, 19 ever. I mean, 2 triple-doubles as a rookie. That's when I think that after that last triple-double, I said, oh, she's got a real argument for MVP. Never mind all the other stuff she's done for this league, like revenue, talking about gate, ticket sales, attendance, and, of course, television viewership and ratings. So, I wasn't the only one that went, what the bleep?
The identity of the voter was kept anonymous, which only made it worse because people were desperate to know who actually did it. Cheryl Swoops was one name that kept getting thrown around as a guess, but nobody could confirm it. Sports Illustrated's Robin Lundberg wrote about it publicly and basically said the same thing everyone else was thinking, which was that the vote made the voter into the story rather than the players who actually earned their spots. The general consensus was that whoever cast that ballot was either not watching the games or had some other motivation behind the decision that had nothing to do with basketball.
The only one that went, what the bleep? Angel Reese inexplicably receives 4th place WNBA vote. I give Robin Lundberg credit for calling this out over at SI. I mean, seriously. Wow. No reasonable person would have a problem with A'ja Wilson winning the MVP. But there was one particular head-scratching vote cast. A 4th place tally for Chicago Sky rookie Angel Reese. I would love.
A couple of other names in the voting also raised eyebrows. Alyssa Thomas from Connecticut came in 5th, and some people felt she had been overlooked entirely given the kind of season she put together. Arishma Abwali out of Dallas was another name that felt like it got shortchanged, as she had a monster individual season even though her team did not perform well as a whole. Kelsey Mitchell also picked up some votes, and that felt reasonable to most people.
These stats, bruh. She'll be missing shots, getting her own rebounds. You can say what you want. I'm standing on business. I'm calling it out. We all know what she was doing, and it looked like Angel Reese's record is gone, bruh. She currently do not have it, and the way it's looking, she was padding them stats, getting all them damn rebounds for nothing because A'ja Wilson came in and kicked the dough down on her, dog. Yes, A'ja Wilson was silently racking up her rebounds, not even.
On the other end, Jackie Cooper out of Phoenix was pointed to as someone who deserved more recognition because she was largely the reason the Mercury made the playoffs that year. She was a scoring machine and her contributions were hard to ignore. The broader frustration that showed up in the public reaction was about the credibility of the whole process. People argued that if a player on a team that missed the playoffs could receive an MVP vote, then the system was broken.
Per rebounds, not even paying attention to it. Now, we know A'ja Wilson is currently having an MVP caliber season, and the way it's looking, she's more than likely going to get the honor of being an MVP and possibly making it to the WNBA Finals. Her Las Vegas Aces is shredding teams like Thanos, bruh, snapping fingers, getting them the hell out of Dodge. Now, with all that being said, in regards to that rebound record, it's being reported that Angel Reese.
That kind of thing has happened in other major leagues before, so it was not completely unprecedented, but it still looked bad for a league that was already fighting off accusations of favoritism and bias. Comments were flying around saying the WNBA could not be taken seriously when votes like that were being cast and that the whole voting panel needed to be overhauled from the ground up. The conversation then shifted to the Rookie of the Year award, which had not been announced yet at that point. The feeling among most observers was that it should be a complete blowout in Clark's favor.
Record, it's being reported that Angel Reese lose landmark WNBA record to A'ja Wilson after season-ending injury. Now, we all know Angel Reese do got an injury going on with her wrist. Now, the article goes on to say the Chicago Sky rookie Angel Reese is no longer the WNBA record holder for the most rebounds in a single season. Now, what's crazy about all of this is that I'm pretty sure a lot of WNBA fans did not know that A'ja Wilson was actually on Angel Reese's heels.
She had done everything possible to make the case, breaking records, changing the sport's visibility overnight, and putting up numbers that no rookie had ever come close to matching. The worry was that the same kind of bias that showed up in the MVP voting might creep into the rookie award too. If Clark did not win it by a landslide with every single first-place vote, or if Reese picked up any meaningful number of votes in that race, it was going to look like the league had a serious problem with how its awards were being decided. People were already bracing for that possibility and watching closely to see if the pattern would repeat itself.
No, that A'ja Wilson was actually on Angel Reese's heels with this record. I didn't even know, bruh. Now, the article goes on to say the 22-year-old Reese broke the record when she recorded her 418th rebound in a 79-74 defeat against the Minnesota Lynx on September the 1st. She held it. At the time, she announced her rookie season will end due to injury on September the 7th, later saying she would need surgery on her wrist. Now, that is the current situation.
The whole narrative around Angel Reese's single-season rebound record lasted about 10 days before it got completely ripped away, and the way it all played out made the entire situation look even worse in hindsight. Reese had spent months building that number up throughout the season, and whether it was done the clean way or not became one of the most talked about questions in the league. Either way, it did not matter in the end, because A'ja Wilson quietly snatched it right out from under her while everybody was still focused on everything else going on in Chicago. Reese originally grabbed the record on September 1st, locking in her 418th rebound during a loss to the Minnesota Lynx.
Surgery on her wrist. Now, that is the current situation that is going on with the Chicago Sky rookie. But it took just 10 days for the rebound record to slip through Reese's fingers at the hands of Las Vegas Aces star and MVP frontrunner A'ja Wilson. Wilson broke the record in an 85-72 win over the Seattle Storm on Tuesday night, setting the new bar at 451 total rebounds. Wilson also has one more game to go.
She held it for less than a week before announcing on September 7th that her rookie season was done. A wrist injury that required surgery shut her down for the rest of the year. Then on September 17th, Wilson broke through that mark in an 85-72 win over the Seattle Storm, pushing the total up to 451 rebounds and setting a completely new standard. Wilson still had one more game left on the schedule after that, a matchup against the Dallas Wings, which meant the number was only going to climb higher.
Game to go to set the bar even higher against the Dallas Wings this upcoming Thursday night. Wilson also broke the single-season scoring record on September the 11th. Also, now, one thing about it is A'ja Wilson has been breaking records just like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but it has not been getting reported on so much because of the hype that is surrounding both young rookies. One thing about A'ja Wilson, she is a superstar player. We all can agree.
What made the whole thing even more striking was how few people actually realized Wilson was anywhere close to challenging that record before it happened. The media attention during the season had been so heavily concentrated on the back and forth between Reese and Caitlin Clark that Wilson's numbers were essentially flying under the radar the entire time. She had also broken the single-season scoring record on September 11th, and that barely made a ripple compared to the coverage the two rookies were getting.
can agree on that, and you can't shy away from her greatness. She is definitely one of the best basketball players in the world, and I feel like she more than likely will be the MVP. Now, that's not taking anything away from Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is going to be on her heels moving forward as she get more adjusted and more settled in with the WNBA, but as of right now, when it comes to talent and overall dominance, you got to give it to A'ja Wilson, dog. Now,
Wilson was putting together an MVP caliber season and still somehow not getting the same level of attention, and that gap became a talking point on its own once people started paying closer attention. The moment that really sealed the whole thing was Wilson's press conference right after the game where she broke the record. When a reporter brought it up and asked for her reaction, Wilson's response was almost comically casual.
And overall dominance, you got to give it to A'ja Wilson, dog. Now, A'ja Wilson did speak to reporters immediately after breaking Angel Reese's record. One thing I will tell you guys is she let it be known. She don't care about rebounds. She ain't in a stat patent. She ain't in a none of that, bruh. Well, we all know Angel Reese is. And it's crazy, bruh, because the fans is definitely paying attention. But we finna get into all of that later on. Let's check out what A'ja Wilson actually said about breaking Angel's little record.
She had no idea she had crossed the line. She shrugged it off and explained that she does not go out there hunting rebounds. That is simply not something she thinks about during a game. Her focus is entirely on putting the ball in the basket and winning.